A warm welcome to everyone. My name is Dinar Balkrishna Thavi and I am an assistant professor at NG Acharya and DK Marathi College of Arts, Science and Commerce, Chembur. Our college is affiliated to University of Mumbai. Today we are going to discuss in brief very important topic from unit number 4, and that is pay structuring in mergers and acquisition. While learning this topic, we will have the introduction of merger and acquisition. Thereafter, we will cover how the pay structuring activities in merger and acquisition have been divided into three phases. At the end, we will discuss various compensation related issues that need to be addressed by HR in merger and acquisition. In our BMS, whenever we are attempting an answer, attempting a question, there is one particular format, and that format requires us to give a short, brief introduction for every answer. And students many times do not understand how to write down the introduction. So, let us have an introductory part of our merger and acquisition. This decade has seen many mergers and acquisitions. There are success stories of mergers of industry giants like Tata and Chorus who have formed unconquerable conglomerates. At the same time, we have seen the mergers of small companies who were struggling to survive. And therefore, if looking at this decade and you people are very much aware of the current affairs, I don't think that merger and acquisition has become a very uncommon topic for you. It's a common phenomena for you, isn't it? There may be manifold reasons behind the mergers. Some can be just to reduce the competition and to ensure the growth, collective growth. Why should we unnecessarily fight with each other, isn't it? So they come together, they conquer the market, they form monopoly. You have learnt this in your 12th standard. There can be some other reasons like taking advantage of economies of large scale, operating efficiencies, ensure access to developed technology, global market, um, tax advantages, and at the end, survival. Whatever may be the reason, the top management, whenever they take a strategic decision of merger and acquisition, they need to evaluate the possible impact of future merger on the various stakeholders of the company. Don't you think so? And in our company, human resource is the most neglected stakeholder. Companies simply forget. They think that in the era of automation, there is no requirement of human resources. Is it possible? Human resources means people. They have brains. Okay, they have emotions as well as they have need and the purpose. That is the reason why they are rendering service to us, isn't it? And when they have such complex life, don't you think that they will be having some kind of difficulties also? Some issues may be there, and it is human tendency. Whenever there is any change, people will always try to resist. So definitely merger is also going to bring some kind of issues. Some issues may be real, some issues may be psychological, and human resource department need to tactfully handle all these issues. Real issues need to be sorted out, and psychological issues can be sorted out through consultation, proper dialogues with the people. Many times people or the human resources from the company are reluctant or they generally show thumb down to the company, to the company's merger. The main reason is that, you know, people are used to a particular type of culture. Since many years they are working, they have formed their one kind of a soft corner for the company. They have developed a workplace, their comfort zone, and that is the reason why people are afraid. These comfort zones can be from every angle. It can be a compensation, it can be a trust on the company, it can be the belief on the management, and so on. And all of a sudden, if somebody is hearing that, oh, your company is going to get, uh, your company is going to get merged with some other company, what will happen? People will start thinking how the new company's management will be. Will they really give the value what we are getting over here? And many other things will pop up in their mind. And slowly, gradually, they will start finding out the issues. Some of the issues may be real, and human resource department need to handle each and every issue. So, if they really want to handle the issues related to merger and acquisition or human resource issues related to merger and acquisition, they need to first of all identify which issues are going to arise before the actual merger take place and which issues are going to take place after merger. So, simply we can have a differentiation into issues, pre-merger issues and post-merger issues. And I personally believe that top management also should give a due importance to the human resource department. If they disregard human resource department, no, what will happen? The entire process of merger and acquisition is going to become a costlier. How? People will not be happy, and if the people are not happy, do you think that they are going to remain with the company after merger? They will simply leave the company, and leaving the company is not, it is not so easy for the company. What I want to say is that for company it will become a costlier affair. They will need to find a suitable person, team party must training, and then thereafter to ensure that he is really workable. Okay, this will take not only a time, but it is going to have a huge expenditure. So, if somebody asks me, no, what management should do, so I would always give them the advice, boss, do one thing, at least look at the implications of merger and acquisition on pay and condition of employment. If they are not seriously considered by the management, no, it may lead to demotivation into employees. There is a possibility some of the people who may not be finding the jobs, they will stay with the company. But what will be the effect of demoralized employees? You know, underproductivity. And underproductivity is not that particular thing what has been sought for when the companies have thought for the merger and acquisition. So, what is the solution? The solution is always there whenever there is a problem. The solution is very simple. We have to look at a proper pay structuring, proper pay structuring in merger and acquisition. And human resource department has to actively involve into this particular pay structuring process. So, simply if we want to divide the activities of human resource department in pay structuring, then they can be divided into three activities. Number 1, HR action before merger and acquisition. Number 2, HR action during the company merger. I mean, this will be oriented toward handling the changes in compensation and benefit program. But how the changed compensation is going to benefit our employee, the companies who are going to merge with some other company. And the third one is post merger and acquisition. Okay, post merger acquisition is very very important phase. Why? Because whatever pay structuring they have somewhere applied or somewhere forced on the people, are they really giving the successful result? Who will measure that? So the third phase of post merger acquisition of pay structuring is evaluation of the impact, evaluation of the success of the pay structure. Okay, whatever changes we have been made in the salary or payment structure or the compensation structure of the employee, are they giving positive impact on the morale of the employee? Are people happy, or they're still feeling that, oh, my earlier company was really very good, they were giving me all kind of job security? There were internal equity, there were external equity, and not many things were there. And the people are not happy over here. If somebody is finding out that, then HR department will have to keep their feet into shoe again, and then they will have to think for the improvement plans. So, once again remember, pay structuring activities in merger and acquisitions are divided into three phases. Number one, HR actions before merger and acquisition. Second one, HR actions during the company's merger or acquisition, and pay structuring activities post merger and acquisition. Okay. So, let us discuss the first phase. What is the first phase? First phase is HR's action before merger of the company. Okay. So, here if somebody asks you, what you need to do is that you need to simply advise the human resource department. Now, this advice should be simply oriented toward the compensation only. There are various other HR related impacts because of mergers and acquisitions. We are only going to stick to the subject. And what is the name of our subject? Finance for HR professionals and compensation management. So, we should not write anything which is related to the common HR. Don't you think so? So, first one, HR actions before merger of the company. HR actions before merger of the company. First one, what HR department should do? The very basic thing. First thing what they should do is that they need to compare. What they should compare? They need to compare our present compensation and benefit plans, the compensation and benefit plans of the companies who are going to merge. So, before merger, whatever compensation benefit plans are there, we need to compare with the company who is going to take over company. Okay, this is number one. Second one, we need to evaluate the offers made by the acquirer. We need to evaluate the offers made by the acquiring company. There is a possibility they will tell you that if your Mr. XYZ is a manager, then our company will give him so and so lakh rupees of package. Okay. Now here we should not be only happy with by listening this, oh, we are getting lakhs of rupees. No, not like that. We need to evaluate. Now for evaluation we need to compare. So what for comparison, what we need to do is that we need to select the company similar level of company. The company who is having the similar level of sales and the company who is having similar level of assets as well as the human resource assets. What is the compensation offered by that company? If we can get that data, compare that data with the offers which are made by the acquirer. It is very essential. There we will come to know the gaps, because if you can understand the gap as an HR professional, definitely the employees are very super smart. They will realize that gap. They are having that grapevine kind of a things. They will come to know, boss, there is a difference, and if that difference is at a lower level, they will never be happy with the merger and acquisition. They will not extend any support to the merger and acquisition. So, the first one is evaluation and comparison of the offers made by the acquirer. Second one, conduct employee survey, boss. We need to first of all understand what is that particular thing our employee feel about our compensation plan. What is the value which most of the employee feel about our current compensation? Is the same value can the same value be given by the offer which is made by the acquirer? If you as an HR professional are satisfied, no, then definitely your people are also they will also satisfy. The third one is very important. if your company is a manufacturing company, or say for example if your unit is a service unit, but you are the employer of 5000 employees. 5000 employees, remember, don't you think that your company will have employees union? In merger and acquisition, if you disregard employee union, they are going to create a trouble for you. We need to listen to them, because whatever difficulties employees are going to face, if they cannot communicate to you, if they are not comfortable with you to share their views, they are going to share their views to the employee unions leaders. And therefore it is always better for the human resource department of the acquiring company also. I am telling you, the company which is giving an offer, the company who is going to merge some other company, okay, who is going to take over some other company, the HR department of both the companies should come, they should come together and they should meet the union leaders of both the companies. If they do not do so, they will be more aggressive, they will be more demanding, and in India we have laws. Disregarding them, we cannot go ahead. Thereafter, very important is that, we have to compare and review. We have to compare and review the plans, compensation plans. Simply, we have done it earlier also. Okay, but now here what we are going to do is that, we are going to compare and review the benefits which are offered by the company, okay, benefits which are offered by the acquirer, and the benefits which are available to the acquirer's employees. Are you understanding? Say for example, tomorrow Dinar is the employee of ABC company, and ABC company is going to be taken over by XYZ company, and Dinar is working as an account officer, and XYZ company is also having an account officer named as Minar. Okay, now this Minar is getting 50,000 rupees, and in merger Dinar has been offered only 30,000 rupees. Do you think that Dinar will be happy? Obviously not, no. So what is the responsibility of HR department? Before they accept any offer, let us compare, no? Okay, and then very important, and the last phase which I personally feel is that, formulate a joint company. It is always advisable to form a joint company involving HR professionals of the merged company or the acquiring company, as well as vendor company. Vendor company means that company which is going to get acquired by the another company. Okay, if both the departments people will work together, no, they will always have a consensus, and when they will have a consensus, no, there will be more chances that errors will be eliminated to the level before the companies are signing on a contract of mergers and acquisitions. Because remember, employees compensation is not only a current factor, it is a future factor also. People are going to retire, don't you think so? Company need to pay them the pension, they will need to give, means company need to pay them the retirement benefits, and this particular company is not going to give them the retirement benefits, or if the retirement benefits are reduced one compared to the earlier company, do you think that the people are going to be happy? No, obviously not. Understood? So therefore I personally feel that, it is always better that, you formulate a joint company. So in first phase, HR actions before merger, what HR need to do? Number 1, evaluation of compensation plan. Number 2, conduct employee survey to know their sentiments. Third, meet the leaders. Next, comparison and review. And the last one is formulate a joint company. Slip of tongue, formulate a joint committee.